Vest has acquired a tomato processing factory in Tzaneen in Limpopo. In studio with me now to explain more about the deal is the company's CEO, Ismail Darsots. Good to have you with us today, sir.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Maybe if you can tell us a little bit more about the rationale behind the acquisition. It does stem from a tomato paste shortage we had in the country?
Well, yes, it has to do with the fact that we produce a tremendous amount of tomato sauce as a byproduct of tomato paste, and because of the shortage not only in South Africa but on the world market, and prices rising the way they are and the rand dropping to the value that it has, it was prudent for us to invest in a tomato concentrate plant, which is a paste factory. The country imports over 100,000 tons of tomato paste a year. And there's a tremendous shortage of tomato paste in the country. 90% of the manufacturers are importing tomato paste. So we were looking at the possibility of putting up a tomato paste plant in in the old Northern Transvaal, so to say, or Northern Province. And the Tiger Brands factory became available. It had the correct infrastructure and it had the correct facilities for running a tomato paste factory, and it's right in the heart of the tomato growing area. And we then acquired the premises from Tiger Brands. We are now in the process of upgrading the entire plant.
How much is that going to cost you?
The new plant is in the region of 40 million, able to produce 600 tons of raw tomatoes per day.
Put that into context for us. I'm a tomato sauce fan. If you can quantify it in maybe bottles of value, and maybe also elaborate as to how much market share you have against your competitor, All Gold.
It would be difficult for me to say what our market share is compared to All Gold, but All Gold is without doubt the leader in the country. And we launched the Platinum range a couple of months ago under the 700 glass bottle. That's taken off exceptionally well. We are the leaders in the 2-liter bracket in the supermarket shelves as far as the All Joy brand is concerned. I think without doubt that we're the second player as far as tomato sauce is concerned in the country. Market share comparatively would be approximately 22–23%. I may be wrong, but I think it's closer to 23%.
Clearly it's market share that you obviously want to gain and expand upon, but it clearly isn't a very easy environment to operate in. Manufacturing in South Africa is taking a bit of a decline. We've got power shortages, labor unrest. How difficult is it for you at the moment?
All the issues that you have raised by their nature is difficult. Power outages is a big problem, but we have contingency plans as far as generators and so forth is concerned. Labor is always a major issue, but we decided to go into an area where there was a need to uplift the outgrowers for tomatoes, the smaller farmers, to give them the opportunity of able to grow industrial tomatoes, and hence the factory in the Tzaneen area.
I want to get your thoughts on the role of entrepreneurship in South Africa, given the fact that Dursots does start off from a family foundation. Is it becoming more difficult to be an entrepreneur or businessman in the South African environment? And I put that in the context of policies involved and the economic environment that we've alluded to.
Well, the economic policy in the country is conducive, dependent on our fluctuation of the rand. As far as I'm concerned, the rand, to do business with the rand in Africa, it is overvalued. Because Africa buys from Europe on never-never terms. And if they have to pay cash, they want the prices to be competitive. Europe, with all the subsidies and so forth, makes it very hard for South African companies to compete unless the rand is weaker. But by the same token, the rand being weaker damages us as far as importing of certain raw material is concerned. But by and large, you would find that the weaker the rand, the greater the African market becomes too exciting for us here in South Africa.
I'll tell you what, we'll get you in next time for a little bit longer to pick your brain on the African growth story. Thank you so much for joining us today, sir.